In this video book summary, we will discuss the key ideas of the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Have you ever given it a thought as to why the Beatles and Bill Gates were so successful? Whether or not you'll ever be a pro ice hockey player? And what rice farming has to do with arithmetic ability? When it comes to success tales, we like to believe that the individuals in question achieved their success as a result of their talent and labor. This video will demonstrate the mythical nature of the self-made guy, as well as this notion has no base at all. You'll see how numerous invisible forces, the majority of which are out of that person's control, have an impact on their achievement. Observation 1. In our society, the myth of the self-made man is celebrated. When we come across a great mathematician, we have a tendency to believe that his aptitude for logical reasoning is fundamentally something he was born with. The same holds true for the dexterity of professional athletes, the rhythmic sense of musicians, or the problem-solving abilities of computer programmers. This is due to the fact that we frequently assume that a person's success or accomplishments are the result of their own efforts and natural talents. Jeb Bush used the phrase self-made man as part of his campaign strategy when he ran for governor of Florida. He was related to two American presidents, a wealthy Wall Street banker, and a senator of the United States, so this is frankly absurd. Nevertheless, he tried this tack because individualism is so valued in our culture. Due to his accomplishments, Jeb Bush qualifies as an outlier, someone who has done something statistically unusual. But just as Bush's advantageous background helped him succeed, so too do other outliers rise above the norm with fewer external factors. We give people and their self-made accomplishments such high value that we frequently willfully disregard other factors. The myth of the self-made man is a very, very widespread one. Observation 2. Once you pass a certain point, having more abilities doesn't benefit you anymore. Despite the importance of innate talents, being 6 feet, 10 inches tall doesn't immediately translate into $1 million basketball contract, and having a very high IQ doesn't guarantee you a Nobel Prize. Why is that so? Success-promoting traits have a threshold, such as height in basketball players or quantitative intelligence in mathematicians. For a basketball player, for instance, a few more inches don't really matter until they reach a particular height. The same is true of education. As part of an affirmative action program, several legal schools waive their entrance standards for racial minorities. When postgraduate performance is considered, there is no longer a difference between the minority and non-minority students, even though these students typically score slightly lower overall in law school than the white students. Despite performing worse than their white classmates both before and throughout law school, minority students still earn comparable salaries, receive comparable awards, and contribute just as much to the legal community. Similar to how height in basketball players only matters up to a certain point, once you have enough legal knowledge, other factors start to become more important. You can't become a top legal expert if you don't have any logical reasoning skills, for example. Once you have these foundational skills, though, small improvements in innate thinking won't help you move up the career ladder. Other factors, social prowess, a network, or even a fortunate development, will certainly help. Observation 3. Any world-class skill requires 10,000 hours of practice, which is no small task. Hard work appears to be at least as crucial, if not more so, than skill, which is unquestionably an essential component in the recipe for success. Bill Gates put a lot of effort into his computer programming education. The Beatles performed on stage frequently. Despite the fact that they were also incredibly talented people, it was their extensive practice that allowed them to reach true world-class status. According to studies, you need to practice for a critical minimum period of time, roughly 10,000 hours, in order to become a world-class expert in anything. Of course, not everyone has the chance to practice something for this long. In order to get the most practice in and gain an advantage over the competition, you must first have the chance to begin early. Additionally, you must have the means to sustain yourself or your family. While you're working 40 hours a week to become a famous violinist, it might be difficult to find time for a job or household duties. Depending on what you want to accomplish, you could also want access to pricey cutting-edge machinery. Encouragement from loved ones, friends, coaches, teachers, and friendly passers-by all contribute. If you're fortunate, you'll have all of these things, just like Bill Gates or the Beatles. Many others don't, thus they are effectively deprived of the chance to become experts in their subjects on a global scale. If you are liking the content of this video, please feel free to buy the book or get a free month of Audible. Both links are given in the description below. This will help our channel grow. Thank you. Observation 4. What you accomplish might be greatly influenced by the month you were born in. You can succeed or fail depending on your relative age, or how old you are in contrast to other people in your developmental group. Here's an illustration. The age eligibility cutoff date for Canadian youth hockey leagues is January 1st. Children who were all born in the same year compete against one another. Is it fair? You may ask. Who cares? Children born in January compete against those born at the end of December based on annual cutoff dates. Therefore, children who are born in December compete with children who are essentially a year older than they are. Coaches praise the best 9-year-olds because they are stronger and better players, but in reality, they are neither. They are simply older. A year makes a big difference when it makes 1/8 of your life. This system is not only unfair from the start but also leads to a self-fulfilling prophecy. The children with this unfair age advantage are given extra support and chances to flourish at a formative time in their development. This is referred to as a cumulative advantage, and it explains why professional Canadian hockey players celebrate their birthdays more frequently in the first half of the year than in the second. Where's the problem, you could ask? After all, I'm not a hockey player. I'm not even from Canada. However, any place that employs annual cutoff dates to separate people into age-based categories can result in unequal opportunities due to relative age. Sports leagues generally have them. One such place is school. As a result, a 5-year-old who struggles to focus and uses a crayon to mark up her spelling homework may grow up believing she is a problem child. At the same time, the serene youngster who sat next to her in class grows up and enrolls in Harvard. Observation 5. Your level of achievement might be significantly impacted by your upbringing. Natural abilities stop being important in your pursuit for success once you cross a skills threshold. Your practical intelligence is a far more crucial aspect. Knowing how to read and use social situations to achieve your goals is procedural knowledge, or in other words, knowing whom to ask, what of, and when. People can get a little bit closer to their goals if they have the ability to communicate with and bargain with authoritative figures. This understanding is not inherent. Sociologist Annette Leroux discovered that wealthier parents are more likely than lower-class parents to develop in their children a sense of entitlement. Typically, they achieve this by giving their kids more attention, or, at the very least, by engaging them in intellectually stimulating activities. They instill in their kids the values of demanding respect and customizing a situation to fit their demands. In other words, parents impart practical intelligence to their children. As opposed to wealthy families, which are more likely to push, prod, and encourage their children, poorer parents are frequently scared by authority and allow their children to follow a pattern of natural growth. Because of this, children from lower-income families are less likely to receive instruction in practical intelligence, drastically lowering their prospects of success. In part 2 of the video, we will discuss the other important observations of this book. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.